I was born in California, and I don't remember. Well, I lived there for like 2 years, and basically and then moved with my family to Washington, and then my parents got like a divorce, just like
Mhm.
everyone else,
It's just like
and then I basically spent most of my life in Oregon, living with my dad, and I graduated barely Clackamas High School. It was like a sympathy graduation. Like I had one of my teachers like begged my other teachers to give me a passing grade so I could graduate.
uh-huh.
So if it wasn't for her, I certainly would not have graduated. But yeah, then from there I graduated, and then I started working immediately at the company that I worked
Hmm.
for 11 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you went from school to tires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
yeah.
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 So what kind of stuff were you into growing up? Did you always have this dream of sailing since you were young, or were you into
No,
other
I,
stuff?
I was something that I watched a guy do it on YouTube, like I guess it was 4 years ago now.
Mm.
Yeah, I watched a guy sail from California to Hawaii. His name's Sailor James, and I saw him do it, and I was like, I didn't know you could do that, and I want to do that, so I did it. Or that's where it stemmed from.
Mhm.
You know.
So did you do like sports growing up, or I don't know,
No, I was
were
a
you
pretty
theater kid?
dysfunctional like teenager.
Uh-huh.
I like did all the bad things, and I was just a dysfunctional human being as when I was younger, and that's yeah. So I didn't really do any sports. I don't know. I just skipped a lot of class, and like I couldn't do school. I was really bad. I mean,
Uh-huh.
to this like day, I could barely like read and write, and yeah, didn't do yeah. So.
So what was your hobbies? Just hood
Um,
rat stuff?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, through high school, that's pretty much it. Yeah, just yeah,
It's so funny.
yeah,
All right, so you ended up graduating high school barely, got this job, and then for about 11 years, was it?
yeah. I was
You
11 years. I was
you
at.
worked there,
Hmm.
and then what you started from the bottom, and you just kept
Yeah, I just
going.
like out of high school, I figured I was like the company I got hired on was like a company that where you can make a lot of money at the company, like more money than a lot of money for a job where like you don't need any like college education
Hmm.
because college wasn't an option. And so I like started working there, and I figured I was like, well, I saw the opportunity within the company, and I was like, well, this is as good as it gets for me, and this is what I'm going to do.
So that was your ceiling, right? You didn't know there was
Yeah,
much
I
more
was
than
like,
that.
I just needed to, I had just got a girlfriend too at the time, and I was like, all right, well, what's the dream? It's the white picket fence
Mhm.
and the house and
Yeah.
the cars and a stable job. So I was like, this is my way to that. And I was totally like content with doing that and like motivated to do that and live that life for about like 7 or 8 years. And so yeah, 7 or 8 years I was like the star employee climbing the corporate ladder and like just brainwashed by
Hmm.
it. And then ultimately like I started getting like really bad neck pains for like years, and I just never went to the doctor because I don't like going to the doctor. But finally one day I was like I like called a doctor. I was like, you guys need to like figure this out, because it was like a day after work where I had really bad neck pain, and so I went to the doctor, and didn't neither of us really thought anything of it, and got some X-rays, and then the very next day I was at work. The doctor called that I went and saw called, and she was like, "What are you doing right now?" And I was like, "I'm at work." She's like, "You need to come in right now." And so I left. I went to go see her, and she like I'm sitting there, and she's like looking at the computer, the X-rays, and then she was like looking at me, and then looking at the computer, and then looking at me. And she was like, I don't know how. She was like, I've done this for 20 years, and I've never seen anything like this. She's like, I don't know how you're here right now, not in like excruciating pain. And she said basically my neck looked like somebody who was like over 120 years old. And she didn't like handle the situation very well, because like she was an orthopedic specialist, so the complexity of the issue was out of her like
Hmm.
realm. And she like put the fear in me. You know what I mean? Like she just said all the crazy things, all the wrong things.
She's like, don't panic, but she's panicking.
She wasn't saying don't panic. She was just panicking. And like, and then from there I had to go see a neurologist. The problem with that was like, to the wait list to see a neurologist was like 4 months. And so like I went the following 4 months, just like, after that day I left that doctor, my pain levels increased 100%, just because of my mind, like it's all like, and I learned, it took me a while to learn that, but I didn't handle it well at all. The pain level went up and I just started becoming basically like a hypochondriac with it. And it's amazing how like you can truly invent pain and make it real when it's not.
There's studies about that.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
Yeah, I mean, even like, for example, like I would get like, I feel a little bit sick.
Yeah.
And something's wrong with my throat. And then my girlfriend's like, don't get me sick. Don't get me sick. And I go to the doctor. I find out it's not even like an infection. It's just like I slept with my mouth open and the AC dried it out. And she's like, oh, I feel sick. And then I'm like, but I wasn't even sick, So stuff like that.
Yeah, it's wild how that happens. And then I saw like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 neurologists, and that was crazy experience as well because they all did the same thing. They all like would look at the monitor and then look at me and then look at the monitor. It's just this. It was so weird to see these. Now these guys were like neurologists, so it's their wheelhouse, and basically like, so like that absolutely shook up my world, and like I went through like I was like. From there, it was just like this slow, like kind of like rapid decline, as far as like mentally and like everything, because it just like threw the world in my face, and it was like, I started to think, I'd show up to work and I would have neck pain, and it'd be like a reminder. It's like, what am I doing here? You know what I mean? Like I'm just at work, I'm in pain, and I'm gonna do this. Literally, this is what's gonna like end me is doing that, and that's all I'll have done in my life is just worked a miserable job, and so I went. I was it obviously was at that point it was like a secure job. I was making good money, and so I wanted to do something. I wanted to change my life, but I didn't know how. Because it's like, dude, I'm gonna leave this corporate job. And then I'm going to have to get another corporate job that's also going to suck. I'm just going to make less money. You know what I mean? So I was in that, and I think people could probably relate to that feeling because you want to leave your job. It's like, well, I'm just going to go to another one. It's going to suck. And so I got stuck in this cycle. Like I'd never been really like a partier. Prior to that, I was pretty like straight and like just really focused on work. But like I started to like try and like escape in a way with like, I spent like probably 3 years, like just partying every single weekend, just to like, I gave myself like, I excused it because this is being alive. I was just trying to find a way
like living for the weekend kind
to be
of
alive.
mindset.
To live. And it was obviously did not help at all because I was going out and like doing all-nighters and doing all sorts of crazy dumb stuff. And then I would show up to work, like I'd be hungover for like a week, showing up to work. So like it would translate into work and I would just be the worst human being on earth at work. And then that was like this weird cycle. And then I would feel guilty about how terrible of a job I'm doing at work. So it's just this decline. I did that. It was just this cycle I did over and over and over again. And I tried multiple things. Like I tried at one point, I almost got like with my buddy, a $1 million fourplex complex thing. We were like a day away from getting it, and he thankfully at the last second backed out because I was just desperate, like trying to find a way out. But yeah, thankfully he backed out at the last second because I would have hated it for sure. And that could have gone bad. And then I tried to open a gym at one point as well. And that didn't work. And I just tried to do multiple things, but all at the same time, I'm working like 70-hour work weeks and like violently hungover all the time. You know what I mean? So it's just like this super depressing cycle. And and on top of that, constantly failing on trying to find a way out. And and then I watched that guy. So like around the same time, my of my neck diagnosis thing. So my ex broke up with me too, so that's why I started going partying. Yeah, so yeah, she broke up with me, which is fine. Nothing bad against her or anything. She's a good person and stuff. But so it was like this double whammy, and so just started partying, and then I'm gonna probably leave some stuff out here. I'm trying to like recall. I really actually talked about the full story in a long time.
This is what it's for. Like, people like to do like long story short. We do short story long here.
Yeah, cool. Well, I'll make it long. That's for sure.
Yeah, just share. I'm sure we all love to hear it, and also just what you're sharing already. Like, you don't even know how many people have that same thoughts about, you know, everything that you're going through, and just like maybe getting into some sort of escape, whether that's like video games, alcohol, drugs, whatever it is. You know, you got to find some sort of escape. Here, you know, we're lucky we got like surfing and hiking.
Yeah,
our escapes can be a little bit more like healthy and positive, but there are the people that
in Oregon it's just raining all the time. It's depressing.
Yeah,
you don't want to go outside.
A lot of Hawaii kids go to Oregon. I almost went to Oregon for college.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm from Hilo on the Big Island, and it's like it rains the most days out of like anywhere in the U.S.
Yeah.
I think it's like there and like another place in Alaska.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Oh, if you have a chance to go to the Big Island.
Yeah.
It has like...
I want to go to all of them.
Totally, yeah. You should. Big Island is cool because it has like... I don't know what the number is, but like 11 of the 13 microclimates in the world. Mm-hmm. So you could go from like a desert to snow to lava to rainforest to all these things.
Cool.
Yeah, so if you ever get a chance.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
But so continuing on with your story.
Where was I? What was I saying?
You were just partying, girlfriend broke up with you.
So I did that cycle for 2-3 years trying to find my way out. Couldn't find the way out. And then I've only said this on one podcast in the very, very beginning. It was just a friend's podcast. So this might come as a surprise to everybody. But it's a part of the story, and it is what happened. And I'm not here to give advice. I'm not saying any of my advice is good advice. It's more than likely bad advice.
Advice of what not to do.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what it was. So like, I was super, super depressed over that course of those 2-3 years, like violently depressed, and just hated life. And to the point where I'd be in bed and I'd just be staring up at the ceiling, and I couldn't sleep because I hated life.